retirement in the world of college football, specifically with how it will affect us and folks in our area. It meant a lot to a lot of people in this area and will affect one team on a schedule close to us this upcoming season. 800-239-9569, 800-239-WJOX. How will Gus Malzahn be remembered as a college head coach or college coach, period, to you? Won a national championship as the offensive coordinator at Auburn in 2010, took Auburn to the national championship game, won the SEC championship in 2013, did some good things at UCF, did some good things at Arkansas State. Most recently, the offensive coordinator at Florida State got a win against Alabama this year, and that's why it will affect teams close to us. Gus Malzahn, Florida State, announces that he will retire and he's going to step down. Florida State, Alabama's third opponent this upcoming season after they play Eastern Carolina and after they play Kentucky on the road. So that impacts that game. And obviously a guy that's meant a lot to college football in our area. He was a part of the Iron Bowl, coached at Auburn as a coordinator and a head coach for a long time, and now Gus Malzahn going to step down. That, of course, affects that Florida State staff as well and what that's going to look like. The statement reads, Florida State offensive coordinator Gus Malzahn announced his retirement from coaching Monday. Mike Norvell has promoted co-offensive coordinator wide receivers coach Tim Harris Jr. to be the Seminoles' new OC. Malzahn said, after 35 years, it's time for me to step away from coaching. I'm excited to spend more time with my family, focus on the next chapter of my life. I want to thank Coach Norvell for giving me the opportunity to coach at such a prestigious program. I'll continue to follow Florida State. I believe great things ahead under Coach Norvell's leadership and the offense under Tim Harris. Florida State led the ACC in total offense and rushing offense last year. If I would have given you 5 guesses, would you have guessed Florida State led the ACC in total offense? With what Virginia did, with what Miami did. With
Probably not 5, no. I think I'd have gotten it definitely in 15.
Don't think a lot of folks would have had that, honestly. Duke's offense pretty good with Darren Mensah last year. SMU, pretty good offense with Kevin Jennings. Just didn't – I don't think a lot of people would have thought, oh, yeah, 472 yards a game, that was definitely Florida State. Led the ACC in total offense. But Gus done a lot of great things. Sad to see him get away from coaching, but obviously excited for him for whatever is next for him. And that affects Alabama because now Tim Harris Jr. will be the OC. I don't think it may be a little less quarterback run heavy. I think it had to be early based on what you had or maybe didn't have, and plus what Malzahn was going to add. Norvell's offense, from a run game perspective, we know what that's going to look like. Very counter power heavy, pulling guards, pulling tackles. You're going to get a lot of misdirection. You get play action built off of that. That's where your shot plays come from. So there's a lot that's going to be there for that. But, man, seeing Malzahn walk away, not something that I think a lot of us expected, but also I think a little bit of where college coaching is right now. He's been in it for a minute. He's made a lot of money and probably ready to say there's a lot of this stuff that I don't really – I mean, we saw him leave being a head coach to go be the OC again. Granted, for a guy that he knew and he knew well, but – not a lot of guys giving up that head coaching job. We saw Chip Kelly do it. We've seen a couple others kind of walk away. But I think probably the state of college football has a lot more to do with this than he is alluding to. And that's a surprise to no one, just based on what it is and where it is.
Should point out he is 60. I mean, he's at an age that you think that, okay, that you should be slowing down. And he puts in his post that he'd been doing it for what?
35 years.
35 years.
Yeah.
Since he was 25. Like, that's a long time to be doing something.
Kurt Cignetti's 64, by the way. So, I mean, a lot of guys do it well past 60. It's just, can they do it in today's college football?
Correct.
Well past 60. I think that's the question moving forward that we don't really know. If you're slowing down a little bit, you need more energy. Game Day Men's Health can help you. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. Find out different ways that they can help. The real easy thing that you do is go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com, sign up for the free consultation. What they're going to do there, free PSA test, free testosterone test, give you a baseline of where your health is. Then you're going to be able to move forward and say, okay, I think I'm going to go with that. I'm going to try this. And you can save 10% on any of their options that they offer up by mentioning Mac and Cube in the morning when you walk in the front door. It's easy. Just walk right in there, tell them what you're looking for, tell them how you need them to help you, and then they're going to be off and running with the different options that they have. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Sign up for that free consultation, testosterone replacement, They have the peptides in stock, weight loss programs, multiple that they can help you out with. They just want to help you be a better you at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Friendly staff, not going to try to pressure you into options that you don't want, don't need. Holistic approach to health and wellness. Minimal upfront costs from the programs they offer. It's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Go check them out today.
Do you know, you mentioned earlier how Florida State led the league in total offense. Do you know how many rushers in the top 20 Florida State had?
3.
1.
Quarterback?
Castellanos.
Yeah. Is that of the ACC or college football?
ACC.
Oh, okay. I mean, he's a big piece of what they did. Now, you wonder how much does that change. You have Ashton Daniels coming in, most likely going to be your guy. But that's not necessarily the calling card of Mike Norvell. Maybe he thought there was too much of it. He wanted to get away from it a little bit. Your Florida State schedule will go New Mexico State at home, SMU at home. That's a big game week 2, by the way.
Just like that. Wow.
You take September the 12th off, then you're at Alabama. Central Arkansas at home, Virginia at Louisville, at Miami back-to-back weeks. Then you'll get a week off before you play Clemson. At Boston College, at Pitt on Friday, November 13th. You're at Pitt. Saturday, November the 7th, you're at Boston College. Don't love that for Florida State, just going to say. Then you get NC State November 21st at home, and then obviously Florida. Battle for the Sunshine State on November the 27th. So that's a tough schedule for Florida State.
Now they are playing a week 0 game, so they will get that bye week before Alabama. They have 2 this year, as opposed to most everyone else will have 1. But that's pretty daunting.
Come at 2 good times, too, before Bama, before Clemson.
Yeah.
But you just look at the logos, the brands. You got Bama there. You got Miami there. You got Clemson there. You got Florida there. And then Virginia, be a little bit of a shift at quarterback, but that was a good football team last year. SMU, good football team week 2.
Don't slouch on Louisville.
No, and then playing at BC, at Pitt, both in November. I think you have to. And then, by the way, after those 2 road games, you go play a very physical NC State team. That's a tough schedule for Mike Norvell breaking in a new offensive coordinator. We'll see how that goes for Florida State. So Gus Malzahn not going to coach anymore. I mean, a guy that you look at, of course, directing that offense with Cam Newton at Auburn. I think we'll remember him mostly for that, even though that 2013 team in which he was the head coach, you give him a lot of credit for what that team did. The 17 team that knocked off Alabama and Georgia, both ranked number 1 in the final 4 weeks of the regular season. Now, didn't have Kerryon Johnson when they went on to the SEC championship game and couldn't knock off Georgia again. But, man, did some great things here in the state of Alabama. And, cut his teeth as that OC at Auburn and then goes over to Arkansas State. I believe won a Sun Belt title in year 1 and then came back as the Auburn head coach and did some really good things. I mean, listen, if you've been a head coach in this state and you knocked off Nick Saban a couple of times and, you got to a national championship game, won an SEC championship, where do we rank him in the list of all-time Auburn head coaches?
As head coach, you can make an argument for everything that he's done, not just head coach, as coach, he might be number 1, but as strictly head coach, maybe 3, 4.
Because there's going to be a lore around this,
right.
Correct?
Yeah.
That there's just most people in their brain are not going to allow Gus Malzahn to be ranked ahead of Pat Dye. Just it's not going to be there. Now, I think if you combined his coaching tenure at Auburn and said, as a coach at Auburn, where does he rank? I ask that in all sincerity. Where does Gus Malzahn rank all time as a coach at Auburn? Because did win a national championship as the OC, did go to a national championship as a head coach, did win an SEC championship as a head coach, has multiple wins against Alabama, and had some big wins against Georgia. Late is where it'll get him. People will remember, what it was late. Mm-hmm. Let's put a couple things in perspective here. Gus Malzahn at Auburn as a head coach was 103-68. All right, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 68-35. He coached 103 games.
68.
So 68 and 35. Tommy Tuberville was 85 and 40.
Same amount of SEC championships, right?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
One went to a national title.
Pat Dye 99 and 39. I mean, Tuberville, people would say the system put his team in position, just obviously
Right.
wasn't allowed to go play for it.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Ralph Jordan won 176 and 83.
Percentage-wise, those all feel relatively close.
Right.
It would be 68% for Jordan. It would be 70% for Dye. It would be 68% for Tubbs. And it would be 66% for Malzahn. It's so difficult because of the times
Right.
and when it was. I mean, Jordan has a national championship. Not a lot of people are going to put Gene Chizik up there on this list, but he does have a national title. By the way, he was 33 and 19, which is 64%. Not a lot of people are even going to say he was close to what some of those others were. It's actually not that far off.
That
right?
bad.
You know?
It's just like you said, the way it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know who it's not going to be, and it's not going to be Kevin Steele, Brian Harsin, Hugh Freeze, or DJ Durkin, who all have served as the Auburn head coach
Correct.
over the last
recently, yeah.
Right.
Semi-recently,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, hold on, let me go check, Pat. By the way, a better winning percentage than all who have been mentioned. One Terry Bowden at 73%. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be ahead of him. He's 47-17.
Right.
I'm not saying he deserves to be ahead of him, is going to be ahead of him. People think he's ahead of him, but just this is for you. So we'll ask via Twitter, 800-239-9569. You want to get in on the Higginbotham hotline. How would you rank the top 3 Auburn head football coaches all time? Where does Gus Malzahn come in there? How do you rank them? Where do you rank them? Who do you rank first? Is it just that easy for you for Pat Dye to be 1? Is it that easy for you for Ralph Jordan? I think Ralph Jordan's got to be 1. Let me just because people talk about Dye taking over for Barfield and how bad it was. Barfield was 29-25, by the way. Not great.
No.
But before Ralph Jordan took over, the 3 head coaches prior to him, actually, you go back even a little bit further. These were the Mike Donahue was 106 and 35.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
From 1904 to 1906. Then he took a 2-year break, came back 1908 to 1922. Did some good things.
That's almost 75%.
I hadn't seen the tape on Coach Donahue.
We just going to ignore Johnny Heisman?
I'm not ignoring him, but I'm saying we got to go even further back. We
Football's a
go
little different.
pre-1900.
Was there
That's
tape?
when those guys were lunching
Yeah.
back then and munching. I don't know.
Is
was
there
happening
actually
really
tape?
there. But before Ralph Jordan took over, your head coaches went 7-11, 10-10, 3-11, 0-4, 22-15, 48-37, 15-22, and 3-22. Earl Brown was 3-22.
Old Earl.
Probably had to run him.
Yeah.
Probably had to run him.
Some dark days.
You know, you win 17% of your games in 3 years. It's time to go.
Time to go. We've given it
Much
long
longer,
enough.
at least, than today's head coach, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's you stick around a little bit longer. But there are people who will point to that and say when Coach Jordan took over, it was rough.
Yeah.
Do you know where Earl Brown got his start?
Ohio State.
Dartmouth.
Full circle.
Who knew?
Don't bring that
Who knew?
highfalutin education into the SEC.
Nah.
Doesn't work.
Came here to play ball.
He was also their basketball coach.
Double duty, man.
This is the problem, is he was sending all his good recruits to basketball. Like, we've heard Coach Sanderson talk about it. Like, Coach Bryant made sure that some of those basketball players couldn't help him playing football first.
Yeah.
Like, Wimps told us that, like, Joe Namath could have played basketball. Coach Bryant was like, yeah, no.
Mm-mm.
You can have him for one practice, and then he's back over here with it. Good luck. He tried it, didn't work. Now he's our quarterback. See ya. So who do you have at the top? Who's number 1? Damian?
I mean, just historically speaking, it would have to be Jordan, Dye, and Malzahn. Like, to me, and again, in hindsight, it's always 2020. But Gus Malzahn's tenure while he was at Auburn as the head coach was pretty good, especially when you look at how everything else has gone since he's left.
Yeah.
Like you've won a national, you've played for a national title, won a national title while he was the OC, but during his time as the head coach, you've seen pretty much the peak of what it has been, and he was the driving force for it. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be at least top 3, if not top 5. For top 5 for sure. Top 3 is debatable.
Okay. John? Top 5, we don't even need to talk about that. I mean,
Right,
he's
yeah.
easily top 5. I think he's top 3 no matter what.
I don't think I can put him above Dyer Jordan. I just don't think I can. I know that.
He did have a lower conference win percentage than those two.
Yeah.
And lower than Tuberville. Maybe the debate is Tuberville or Malzahn top 3. That's probably the better debate because you could go Jordan, Dye, either one you wanted to, first, second, whatever.
Feels like those are, yeah.
Who comes in at number 3? Is it Gus Malzahn? Is it Tommy Tuberville? Now,
I think as a head coach, I think it's Tuberville. But if you put time at Auburn, Malzahn surpasses that. But if you're just strictly
who
looking at
took
head
over
coach,
the more difficult situation? Tommy Tuberville or Gus Malzahn?
which situation are we counting from Malzahn? 2009 or 2013?
No, 13. I mean, Gus, when he took over as head coach, I think because of the familiarity he had and because of there was more recent success.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, we were in the SEC championship game, the year before,
Correct.
or technically when he took over 2 years before.
Right.
But they won the national title 2 years before when he took over. So you could at least point to that and say, hey, and I coached that guy that,
right.
for the most part, put the team on the back and went and won it. So I would probably give Tuberville a little bit of an edge there.
Yeah, I think
Not
so
that
too.
it wasn't difficult for Malzahn when he took over.
True.
It's a tough one, man. I mean, when you think like Malzahn, Tuberville, third greatest coach in Auburn history, who are you putting there? And we're, yes, John Heisman, we're kind of, I don't.
I hadn't seen it. It was a different style of ball back then.
He was 12-4.
Hey, that's winning ball.
He's 8-4 in conference.
See?
I mean, I'm saying we don't know what it was then, what it was like. I mean, George Roy Harvey was 2-0 all time.
Undefeated.
There you go.
Never lost.
DM Ballier was 1-0. He won 1,000% of his games. So
All it took was one.
okay. By the way, George Roy Harvey, sorry, he was 2-0-2. So those two ties. Don't know if we can put him up there.
But he didn't lose.
Did not lose.
Didn't lose the game.
Unlike MS Harvey, who was winning percentage was 0. 0-2-0 all time. But that was 1902. It was a different day.
Right.
NIL just not available then.
You're swapping shit.
Couldn't lean on it. Could not lean on the NIL then.
That's
so,
when Sawane was running stuff in the SEC.
Lunching on everybody.
Exactly. It's a different time. Different style
Spiking
of ball.
people, breaking ribs, no face mask. All right, we'll continue that conversation. How would you rank them? 1, 2, 3, and if you had to choose Tuberville or Malzahn to be top 3 Auburn head coaches all time, 800-239-9569. Text in 205-834-9450. Tweet in at Mac and Cube and let us know your thoughts there. Back with more right after this. 800-239-9569. Gus Malzahn announcing his retirement. Where does he rank amongst Auburn head coaches all time? Text into the show 205-834-9450. Let us know your thoughts on Gus Malzahn hanging it up as a college coach. Had a great career. I mean, you think about where he came from the high school ranks to shoot onto the scene as quickly as he did and then go on to have the success that he did at Arkansas State, Auburn as a coordinator, Auburn as a head coach, UCF as a head coach, Florida State as a coordinator. Did some really good things. Pretty impressive based on how quickly he shot up the ranks to go on and have the success that he did, and will be remembered, should be remembered as one of the best football coaches in Auburn history. We'll talk about just exactly where he ranks and where he should rank. Well, I'll tell you that Noble Eagle Insulation ranks number 1 for me. They actually came to our house. We had an issue, had a little bit of a drafty area near our kitchen, and it was really concerning when it got cold because I was right there near the pipes in the kitchen. The guys came by. Mike Mikos said, hey, we can just spray this one little area. I think it'll handle all of it. They did. They came by, managed it quickly, easily. Didn't cost us a lot. And thanks to Noble Eagle, we don't have to worry about that anymore. Emphasis on reliability, service, and protecting what matters to you. Noble Eagle's been in business since 2013, established and trusted. If you need any insulation at any part of your home, they can come and spray it and take care of it right now, and it's not going to be an issue. That extreme cold winter weather is still here. Birmingham-based, veteran-owned insulation company. If you have any part of your home that feels cold, drafty, if you have uneven temperatures in your home, high heating bills due to poor insulation, you need to call Eagle Insulation today, 205-490-2933. That's 205-490-2933, and see what they can do for you. Also, just go to nobleinsulation.com, and they'll find out exactly what they can do for you, see all the different areas in which they can help you. Comfort you can feel, savings you can see at Noble Insulation. All right, so text coming in on Gus Malzahn. Damian, what are the people saying about sort of where he is, where he ranks all time as an Auburn head coach?
Somebody texts in and says top 5, but he ain't 5.
I definitely don't think he's 5. I mean, we're debating on the show now, is he 3, is he 4?
Right.
I think that's where, most people probably look at it and say, all right, how would you rank him? Where would you rank him? And we've kind of gone back and forth and talked about some of the qualifications that he would have versus Coach Tuberville. Greg Skipworth tweets in, Jordan Dye, Tuberville, Bowden, Malzahn. Now, one thing that you would say about Malzahn is he didn't leave in scandal.
Correct.
He left because things had sort of tampered a little bit, and, you gave him a big contract and people were kind of over it.
Right.
People might look at some others and see that in a little bit of a different way. RN4L Glenn tweets in, Coach Tommy Tuberville over Coach Gus Malzahn. The one thing that I would say is Tuberville more wins against Alabama. That will weigh heavily for a lot of people. But consider what Malzahn did against Alabama when Alabama was what they were. Mm-hmm. That has to count for a lot, in my opinion. And I'm not saying I'm putting one or the over right now. I don't know. This is a literal coin toss for me. It's going to be hard for me because I played for Tommy. And I know things were rough when he took over. I was there in the middle of it. I know how it went. I will say him getting to the SEC championship game year 2, that was big.
Right.
We don't view that as very important this day and age because it's where you play off, how many championships. But getting Auburn back to winning the West year 2 was massive. And is it his fault that the BCS computers didn't put him in that game against USC to just see where it could have fallen? I don't think a lot of us have a ton of confidence they were going to win that game because that USC team was a juggernaut. But, I mean, you get a chance to go play the game.
Right.
And they didn't get a chance to do that. He had an undefeated season, which not a lot. Terry Bowden did too. So, and none of them were on television. But he had an undefeated season. So, it's a tough one, man, when you're kind of looking at where those teams are and kind of how you would rank them. Alex Page tweets in, how strong of an argument can one make for Chiswick to be in the top 3 over Tuberville and Gus due to him having the championship on his resume and a Heisman Trophy winner? I don't think you can put Chiswick ahead of those two. And, by the way, if you're going back and forth with Malzahn, he's helping prop Chiswick up in that spot because he was the OC.
Right.
So I understand a national title, what it means, Heisman Trophy winner, what it means. And I don't think Chiswick gets enough credit for that, by the way. In the realm of all of it. People just give it all to Cam. Chiswick deserves a ton of that credit. Number one, the defense was pretty good. Number two, just organizing. Keep in mind now, mentally, emotionally, from a distraction standpoint, probably one of the most difficult seasons to manage of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Because Schleybaugh and 40 and whoever that other, Charles Robinson from Yahoo, they were in full-blown attack mode every single week.
Yep.
We got this. We heard this. We got tapes. We got the tapes. We're releasing the tapes this week.
Yep.
Never heard the tapes. I had a guy on my show in Huntsville that said he had the tapes, came on the show to discuss said tapes. Nobody ever heard the tapes. Like, did we lose all the tape recorders?
Went missing all of a sudden.
Think about that, though. Every single week, he's going to be ineligible. He can't play anymore.
Yep.
We found the tapes. We have voice recordings. We have documentation. We have new reportings. It was every week. And you got to give Chiswick a ton of credit for managing that.
Yes.
Like, he held that thing together somehow, some way. And also, like, a lot of tight games early on. Like,
right. Like, they were nail-biters.
they were in some barn. I mean, think about that LSU game back and forth. What was the Arkansas game, like 48-49 or something?
Clemson.
Yeah.
And that was before a lot of the distractions started.
Yeah.
South Carolina was a tight game. But when they were in the middle of it, like Georgia,
Kentucky.
Arkansas, LSU, they had to go. Cam had to catch a ball in Kentucky to win.
Right.
So, I mean, even just managing things in close games,
Yeah.
he should deserve a lot of more credit than that than probably what he gets. What are they saying via the text line on maybe top 5 coaches all time, top 3 coaches all time in Auburn football history?
Yeah, Mark showing a lot of love to Coach Malzahn. Says Malzahn character class. He was a winner. He was going against Saban during his tenure at Auburn. Great representative of Auburn University.
You got to give him credit for what he was going. We know what the rivalry is.
Mm-hmm.
We know what that game means. You're in the same division with a school in your state, your biggest rival, one of the biggest rivals in college football during their greatest run of their program, one of the biggest powerhouses in college football. You were going toe-to-toe with that every day. And you got multiple wins, and you got some big wins and big spots too, like against some highly ranked teams. I mean, 2010, there were people sitting up there saying, if Alabama wins the Iron Bowl, they should play for a national championship. So you went and got that win, big one.
Yeah.
And you think about 17, Alabama ranked number 1.
Yep.
You get that win. Kick 6. What was Bama ranked? 1 in that game? 2 or 3 in that game?
Yeah.
You get that win. So he got some massive wins against Alabama teams that were really good.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing too with Gus Malzahn. It wasn't like he was doing this with first-round littered talent year after year. Like, it may have been in a couple spurts, in a couple places.
Had some players.
But he had some dudes. But like you said, going against
He didn't have
Nick
Alabama's
Saban.
roster.
Right.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Somebody asked, they're about to ask us a math question. It says, what was Suge Jordan's winning percentage against Bear compared to Malzahn's winning percentage against Saban?
I don't have that in front of me.
It's like a calculus
I
question.
have to go back and I don't know that right offhand.
It's a lot of Terry Bowden love. They're saying he's in the top 3.
Which is it's interesting for me to hear because my perception, and maybe it's because I was on the team when he was fired, and a lot of people's connotation of him was just not good. That's surprising to me. I think Terry deserves a ton of credit for what he did at Auburn. Like I said, he had an undefeated season. Got to the SEC championship game.
How long was he there?
I want to say 93 to 98. I mean, I could go find it again.
That's right, 6 seasons.
Yeah. Well, 5.5.
Well, yeah.
Not a full 6. Not a full 6. But think about the fact that he had a team that was on probation. This is foreign to a lot of people. The games were not on television. You go undefeated, and I get Pat does players. That's part of it, man. That's part of it. A lot of coaches take over with other guys' players that are good and don't win a lot of games. He did.
Saban made SEC championship with Shula's players. I mean, if we want to do this.
But think about, too, recruiting, like what they went and did down in Lauderdale with, like, guys like Martavius Houston, Robert Baker, James Bostic. Like, they went and recruited South Florida and got Frank Sanders. They got big-time players at Auburn. I don't think he recruited Frank Sanders, by the way. So that was a mistake on my part. Sorry, before here comes the message boards. Sorry, Bunker.
So, like, Gus Malzahn, is he the 3rd longest tenured after Dye and Jordan? Because I feel like he stayed the longest.
Not really. I mean, Donahue's going to get it because you had 18 total seasons.
Right.
And Jordan. But then Dye had 12. Tuberville had 10. Jack Meager back 1934 to 1942. Yeah. He had 8. Excuse me, he had 9.
9. Okay.
Malzahn had 8. So, depending on how you look at it, I mean, 5, 6, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, it's interesting when you just kind of start to put all these numbers next to one another and who you would have where. Like, where do they fall? So, we'll continue talking about it, continue discussing it. Greg will be back in a few minutes. We'll have Richard Hendricks to talk college basketball next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Fair all-timer coming up in the bad box score of the day. All-timer coming up in the bad box score of the day. Visit with Richard Hendricks. Thanks to Pizza Pulse here in just a moment. Talk some college hoops over the weekend. 11-69 on the road. Bedford went for 11. Auburn out rebound 30 in the game. Keyshawn Hall, 21 points, 3 steals. Nate Emmett had 22 for Tennessee, 12 of 15 from the free throw line. and how much they made a difference there. Auburn shot just 38% from the floor. So that Tennessee defense, strong in this game. Auburn 7 of 31 from 3. Tennessee just shot 13 threes. Didn't matter, though, because of what they did in the paint and what they did defensively for Auburn and against Auburn's perimeter game. Florida goes 100-77 over Alabama over the weekend. An impressive showing for the Gators. Alabama shot 44%. Florida was 51% from the floor. When you do the majority of that in the paint, well, that's the way that goes. That's the way that usually happens. You look at 44-33 on the rebounding, the edge going to Florida. 78-26, Alabama was outscored in the paint. Florida had more field goals in the paint than Alabama had field goals in the game. And Richard Hendricks joins us now thanks to Pizza Pulls. Go to Fanatics Live, go to Whatnot, find Pizza Pulls, doing college football breaks there every Wednesday on Pizza Pulls. They got the new NFL Prism. They got the NBA Midnight, looking for Cooper Flag cards. Go to pizzapulls.com or find them on Fanatics Live or Whatnot or eBay Live. Now, Richard Hendricks with us on the Higginbotham Hotline, former Alabama basketball great. Pure dominance in the paint, Richard, from Florida versus Alabama. I don't know what the answer is. Just a bad matchup. That's just one that if you look at tournament time, you hope you don't run into something similar. If you're Alabama, just a contrasted style game. Not sure if you saw it a whole lot differently.
Well, that's exactly what it is. But, I might sound a little bit like a broken record because, I come on here, I talk so much about interior play and what Alabama seems to struggle against. But listen, when you're going to play against a team that has a front line like that plays with that level of determination and physicality, giving your team so many offensive rebounding opportunities I think they had 15 offensive boards and just dominating the paint, then that team that plays that style is always going to give themselves a chance to win. And unfortunately for Alabama, that's been the kryptonite that they've had. They've struggled against Tennessee. Tennessee's won 5 games in a row against them. I think Florida's now won 5 in a row against them. And it's because they have that type of personnel that can play that way from the inside out. And that really gives Alabama problems because when you play that way, you can defend much better. And it makes it physical, and they're not going to allow the guards to just play with the freedom that they're able to do with Philon and Holloway and Reitzel. So Alabama's got to make some adjustments or moving forward in the NCAA tournament. They can only hope that they get a draw, that they're playing against teams that are similarly built like them. Because if they play tough teams like this, the Alabamas, the Tennessees, the Purdue's, Arizona, then it's going to be really, really tough.
All right, Richard, when we look at Alabama moving forward, anything from a roster perspective that you anticipate Nate Oates will shift, minutes that maybe need to be moved around to not let games like this maybe take place in the near future?
Well, I do think that some things you can shore up just as far as like an attitude when it comes to your defensive scheme when you're playing teams like this. When you're a little bit more passive defensively and drop coverage, and Bediako is a really good defender and rim protector, but I think the aggression that you can have, it can be a little bit more disruptive to create some defense into offense situations. But mainly, you got to be who you are. The identity for Alabama is that they're going to rely on the guard play. They're going to shoot threes early and often. But you're really going to be just dependent on them to be able to knock down shots from the outside. And if they're not able to hit threes early and often to keep the pace up, to allow the other team to play at the style that Alabama wants, if they get down and they have to force to grind it out, then it's a lot of pressure on every shot that they shoot, and then the other team's able to easily get the rebound and come to take their time and operate. So, I think defensively is just the area that you're going to have to make things a little bit more difficult. And if you're playing against a front line, that you have to be physical, meet them at the nail, don't let them get deep position down low, and then finish every single thing with a strong box out and rebound.
When you look at what Bediako's been, obviously tons of coverage of his return. You reference his rim protection. I feel like he's a better offensive player than when he left. But has he been what was expected? Is he as good, same, better? What has you seen just kind of from his specific evaluation?
He's been slightly better than what I expected. When the news came that he was coming back, I looked at it and said, well, he was only a 6.5 rebound, 6 point per game and 5 rebound guy. He did most of his work on the defensive end. I think he's been better offensively than he's been defensively. I thought that would be the area that he would be more impactful when it comes to the shot blocking, when it comes to the rebounding, as far as on the defensive end with his rebounding. But offensively, I've been impressed with his maturation when it comes to the tempo in which that he sets his screens, that he rolls to the basket to get spaced out, to get open for lob threats. And I do think that he still has a lot of room to grow. They can still be good and beat anybody in the country with him now in the fold. But I think the defensive side is where he's going to have to pick things up, because that's where I thought he would be the major contributor, but it's been offensively. If he can start to reject 3 and 4 shots a game and change even more and really be a person defensively on the rebounding that just cleans the boards up and ends the possession, then I think he will be far more impactful. But he's made some maturity for sure, but that's to be as expected when you played a couple years in the G League.
Is this as simple as we're talking about with Florida and Bama as far as contrast in styles, Auburn and Tennessee? I mean, Tennessee just a physical team, a great defensive team, 77-69. They get the win. Auburn shoots just 38% from the floor. Felt like they had a chance to make a couple of runs sort of later in the second half, but Tennessee just at the right times made sure that wasn't going to take place. What were your takeaways from that matchup?
Well, I thought that Auburn did do a really good job of hanging around. Tennessee led from the beginning of the game all the way to the end. But to cut the game, I believe, to 4 at one point with about under 8 minutes to go in the game was something that is really respectful from Auburn. Auburn's a good team, and Keyshawn Hall is a really good player who knows how to play the game and get his point production. They're going to have to give a little bit more from Tahad Pettiford. He's been inefficient when it comes to his shooting from the outside. And I think that he is a much better athlete than people give him credit for, and maybe that even he knows. And with that athleticism, he needs to attack the basket a little bit more and draw fouls and get his point production from the free throw line and soften up the defense. Then he will be able to shoot those shots from the outside with his feet set. He's a talented player, but he depends on a lot of his outside production off of the bounce and over-dribbling it. And if he lets the game come to him and forces the drive and get to the free throw line, I think that he'll be much more effective. But, this is a good team. They play really good defense. After they've made some switches, they kind of dare you to shoot it from the outside and play on a closeout, and they don't let you get into the paint very easily. But they're playing against a tough, physical Tennessee team. They got 17 offensive rebounds in that last game. So anytime you're playing a Rick Barnes team, you have to make sure that you're ready to play, because they're going to bring it in the paint.
What about the just overall, I guess, approach from a Kentucky team now that I feel like maybe starting to flash a little bit, maybe starting to see a little glimmer of hope, toughness, and things like that? Like, are they on the other side, you think, when kind of evaluating what this team could become? We know they're a high-priced roster. We know they have talent. Didn't feel like it fit together very well, but maybe things are coming for them. Is that fair?
Oh, absolutely fair. And it's fair for every team in the league that's in the top half in that assessment to say that this is still wide open. I know we're getting towards the back 9 of the SEC play, but if you have 3-4 losses, this thing is still there for the taking. Coming down the stretch, and Kentucky is one of those teams that's in it. I think everyone looks at this team from the wrong perspective. And for me, they look at it and say $22 million roster, high expectations, SEC preseason player of the year in Otega Oweh. The money doesn't matter. I mean, like, everybody looks at the money and you think that the money should correlate to the results that you get, and maybe that would be in a perfect world, but the players are still the players. And it's taken some time for this team to develop some chemistry with each other. They've had some injuries, and some players are going to be out for the season. And in many ways, that's not a bad thing. In basketball, you want to have a rhythm, and you want to have some confidence, and you want to be a player that you know you're going to be in the game without having to look over at the bench and thinking you're going to get subbed out. And when the roster is shortened, it's also easier for the coach to make decisions as far as personnel because he knows he has to rock with who's out there and available. And in some ways, that's been very, very good for Kentucky moving forward. And I think if they can continue to play at a high level, a big win at Arkansas, then they can be there in the end because they have the pieces that are available that are good enough to compete in the conference.
Richard, great stuff as always, man. Appreciate the time. Always great having you in every Monday. We'll do it again next week.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it.
There you go. Richard Hendricks joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Joins us weekly thanks to our friends at Pizza Pulls. Card breaks on fanaticslive.com. Also on Whatnot, eBay Live. Go check them out. College football card pulls every Wednesday right now happening at Pizza Pulls. All right, we'll get to a break. We will come back with what I referred to earlier as an all-time all-timer. Yeah, I said it. I'll back it up next right here on Jocks. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 9:51, Monday, February 2nd, right here on Jocks. We'll get to our bad box scores of the day here in just a moment. First, Craig, tell our listeners about Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's been my go-to for a long time. Always very, very appreciative of the experience I have when I walk in the door. Go and see for yourself. Bromberg's has an incredible selection. They have incredible deals. They just have great experience. And honestly, working with their experts in a one-on-one situation is ideal. And if you got engaged over the holidays, now is the time to create your wedding registry. You can register online, but going in and working with the experienced bridal consultant will help you a lot. From china to crystal to silverware, casual pieces as well. They're about to celebrate 190 years in business. So start this new chapter with the experts who know registries best. Plus, enjoy 20% off wedding bands and special pricing on wedding party gifts. Register online at brombergsbride.com or visit Bromberg's in Mountain Brook or at the Summit.
All right, let's get to our bad box scores of the day, plural. Our friends, the SUNY Adirondack.
Oh, the River Wolves.
Close.
Are they the Red Devils?
No.
Timberwolves.
Yes. I like that River Wolves was close, and we went Red Devils. Right there in the same neighborhood.
I knew it was a hybrid something.
Same, right there in that same neighborhood there. Right there in the same neighborhood. All right. Let's, they took on the Genesee Community College.
Grizzlies.
No.
I'm going to say the Genies.
The Gestapo.
Tigers.
Tigers.
Okay.
Our friends SUNY Adrian Dak went down 96-14 over the weekend.
Oh, boy.
By quarter,
Not
they
great.
scored 0. Your score at the end of the first, by the way, 34-0.
Okay.
3, 6, and 5 the rest of the way through.
Hey.
So good coach at least.
Second half adjustments.
Good coach at
You know?
least. They did make
That's all
those
it took.
adjustments.
That's all it took.
That's all it took. SUNY. 5 of 45 from the floor.
I thought we were
No.
going to guess their thing
No.
again.
I still would have gotten it wrong.
Yeah.
5 of 45 from the floor. On those 40 misses, they grabbed 5 offensive rebounds.
Okay.
4 of 29 from 3. At least they let it rip.
They ain't got nothing to lose but the game.
They were down, 34-0 after one, so why not?
Yeah.
Genesee, by the way, 41 of 82 from the floor. 6 of 17 from 3. Your rebounding differential was 49-20. Now, that was Sunday. Friday, SUNY Adirondack took on Corning Community College. They're the
Colonels. Cougars.
No.
Cowboys.
Red Barons.
Red Barons.
Take all our guesses. All right.
Exactly what you thought there.
Greg and I were going to nail it.
We were all over
Yep.
it.
They went down 103-7.
I'm sorry, what?
103-7.
1 or 3?
103
Oh.
to 7.
It's a 7.
Your score at the end of the first,
52-0.
no, 38-0,
38-0.
Okay.
which makes their last 2 games combined score at the end of the first 72-0.
So they start off slow. There are some teams that get better as the game goes on. They just
They're
start
not
off-
one of. They are not one of them.
If you call scoring 2, 2, and 3 by quarter the rest of the way through
Up
better,
your coach.
It's better than nothing.
maybe. I actually don't have any of their box scores. Their scorekeeper quit during the game and said, we're not going to give you any statistics. But Corning went 44 of 81 from the floor, 11 of 24 from 3, had 17 offensive rebounds, 16 steals in the game, 47 total rebounds.
Yeah.
So
It's tough.
5 players in double
Tough for
figures.
old Adirondack.
By the way, 14 players scored in this game for Corning Community College.
When nobody stopping them.
Greg, tell our listeners about Crocker
Nobody.
Moving Services.
They're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. You can trust them in your home. With your whole home packed up, move your company headquarters moved across country, or you just want them to cover rearrange your living room. These guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you purchase need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website's CrockerMovingServices.com. That's CrockerMovingServices.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Services for your next move.
They're going to be doing studies on this SUNY Adirondack women's basketball team. 0-13, by the way.
Kind of figured.
Not great.
0-5 in conference.
Yeah.
0-5 on the road.
Tough.
0-8 at home.
If they're 0-5 on the road, it's
0-12
tough.
in region play.